Let's go.
The Virgo in question, my sister Brooklyn. Alright, so she has her books here. I don't know, I'm sure that this has to do with being a Virgo, but she's home all weekend from college. I wanted to go to Barnes & Noble so that we could look around, have her check out different sections, and she was all booked. She was booked and busy. She had everything planned out, so I'm assuming that has to do with being a Virgo. Could not be me. Okay, pick just one. We'll just do one at a time. Okay, that's first. The first one we got is For the Wolf.
I like love books, but I still wanted it to like relate to something I already knew about. And so apparently these books are all like classic fairy tales. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see like a more woman-based side of a fairy tale.
Love it. You like did research before.
Yeah, so my first instinct was to like research what I like.
Okay.
And like what books would be good for what I like.
Yeah,
because I don't know a ton about books.
Because she doesn't do the whole book thing, it was interesting to see like what was her thought process going and picking books out. So it wasn't based on the cover or anything? Or like
No.
you didn't read the synopsis, you just, or did you read the synopsis?
I read the synopsis.
Okay.
But I didn't pick it off the cover because I was worried that the cover would be deceiving.
Okay. I have been chronically yearning to read this.
Okay.
So I'm actually so excited. I had not known like when I was gonna get to it. So I'm actually so very excited for this book.
Yeah, and it looked good. I don't know. Whenever I read it, I was like, it's like a classic fairy tale, but different.
Yeah, okay. So we're starting off like really strong here. The Alice Network. We got a Reese's Book Club here.
I like books that like you learn too. So it's like history. But it's still fiction.
It looks cold as fuck, wherever this girl is. 1945, 1915, dual timeline.
It's World War II. And so I thought it'd be interesting because it was like about two different wars, but like women and like their roles in two different wars.
Oh, okay, okay, feminist. Okay. Overkill. This one was the one that I saw and I was like, So just so that you know, because if you've seen my thriller video, I read a lot of my thriller books like this on my Kindle because it scares me to have them on my bookshelf.
Okay.
So when you have a Kindle, you don't look at the cover all the time.
Oh, okay.
This is like
But
screaming
that's why
nightmare.
I liked it, because I was like, it's scary.
Okay.
Like, I would want that on my bookshelf.
Virgos. Okay. Virgos are like a little dark. I
So
feel like
I like this better than like the weird like cartoony. Not that they're weird, but like the cartoony like bright covers.
Okay. Okay. So she likes dark shit. This stuff, it looks dark. Package 2.
My nails are way too long.
The Nightingale, number 4. This one's a classic, I think. I've heard a lot of talk about this, but it's always looked too boring to read. Oh,
well, now you
this is gonna be fun. This is also a thick boy.
Yeah, and it's about World War II.
Okay.
You can learn and read.
Because that's why I read, right? To learn. I bet there's no spicy scenes in like any of these books.
Well, yeah, that's not the point.
Okay. Here's the 4 books that we have chosen for this week that I'm gonna...
I feel like it's a good color theme. I like how they all match. It's like a gradient. I like it.
They look so scary to me.
Yeah, that's why like you want to read it. You want to know what happened.
Do the genre of these books like mean anything to you? Historical fiction, thriller, fantasy.
Like I couldn't help but want to pick something that would fit you too. I picked fantasy, but I still wanted you to read something that I would. So thriller is like, that's like what I'm interested in. Cause like, I like true crime because they like figure it out at the end.
It's scary.
And then historical fiction is just because you get to learn.
So at all did you think, I'm gonna go to YA? I'm gonna go to young adult section.
No.
Yeah, see, that's where I live.
See, that just like, it's like,
Why would you do that?
I can just watch a movie about it. And that's fine.
That's so
But if I'm
interesting
gonna
because
read, I
I'm
wanna
like,
get
I
something
can just
out of
watch
it.
a movie about these.
Yeah,
Maybe
but-
someday she's gonna be like, you pick for what I'm gonna read. I'm gonna have this bitch read ACOTAR.
Slutty witch fiction.
Slutty fairy fiction. Slutty fairy.
fiction.
Yeah, ACOTAR.
Okay.
Tell me which order I'm going to read these in.
Just rip the band-aid off this one first. The thriller first.
Okay. Those tend to go fast. Even though I
Yeah.
don't like them, they tend to go fast.
And just like get that one. Then read the longest one.
What is happening? The Nightingale. Of all these books, that one's staring at me like a little bit intimidated, a little bit nervous about it.
That's why it's second.
I hope that I don't get bored. That's
No.
the wish here. All right. Reporting live with my Virgo Brooklyn, and we're gonna bring to you a Virgo book haul like never before. Virgo reading challenge like never before. One thing I know about having a Virgo as a sister for 20 years now is Virgos are fucking freaks. This bitch put this shirt on after we were done recording. So we did a Virgo video. She puts this on after we're done. The first book that I was assigned to read for this video is Overkill by Sandra Brown. When I started this, I immediately got pulled in so deep that I could not stop to update you until now, and it's about 75% done. It's definitely gonna be the pace of the book and you wanting to know what happens. You know, it's like, okay, wait, how did we get here? Rewind, and where are we going? Fast forward. In Overkill, this guy named Zach, he's a superstar MVP football player. As Zach quickly rises to fame, there's just girls all over, wanting to be the new football player, It Boy's arm candy. Rebecca gets that opportunity. 6 weeks later, she has him going to Vegas with her, and they're saying I do. Something about partying is there's two types of people, right? On the one hand, we have people that they go through a phase, they go through an era. They're also able to take themselves out of that culture. The second type of person goes into that culture and never comes out. Like, that becomes their personality. That is just who they are. Some may say they're a Pisces.
Just kidding, of course.
Now when Zach starts to realize that this party life is not for him, they get a divorce really quick. He goes back to the football life. She tries to keep up with the party scene. One night Rebecca goes to an orgy party. She ends up going into a room alone with 3 other guys. They were all drunk, high, and in there she loses her life. She doesn't die. She's actually in a vegetative state. Majority of the story takes place 4 years later. The guys that went into the room with her that night, they get off scot-free. Even though Zach and Rebecca got a divorce years ago, he's still medical power of attorney. He was unaware of that. When Zach gets the call, he's like, huh? So Zach has to decide, do I keep her on life support? Do I take her off? Zach's let Rebecca live all these years for the sake of her family. When the prosecutor comes to his door 4 years later and is like, listen, you're still medical power of attorney for Rebecca. If you pull the plug now, Rebecca's attacker can be retried for murder. Overkill has already been a wild ride for me. One thing about thrillers for me is I can say I'm leaning more towards this rating or this rating or this rating until everything gets wrapped up. No idea which way I'm leaning, how I'm gonna rate this. I think that it's really interesting having this like celebrity aspect to it in the media and how the media interferes. So I'm really excited to finish this. Smells like fall. Let's go to my reading chair and have a little chat. Last night I finished Overkill. This is the longest thriller that I've ever read. And after reading this thriller, I have decided that they should all be at least 400 pages. I feel like this was a really good length to tie up loose ends. The perfect way to do it without rushing the story. I gave this a 4 stars. I really enjoyed my time reading this. I don't have a ton more to add. I think everything that I said yesterday I still completely agree with. One thing about thrillers though that I find really interesting when it comes to me and reading this book is the ending. So the ending was not some like crazy plot twist, some like mind bending, I really had to think about it, really had to process it. No, the ending felt like an appropriate way to end it. But it also wasn't bad, you know? It wasn't rushed, it wasn't too out there. The story did not stand alone on the ending. A lot of thrillers get their footing from the ending being some like crazy plot twist where the rest of the book it didn't really matter because the ending like you need to read this because the ending's so crazy. The writing in this book stayed consistent. I felt like Sandra Brown's Overkill deserved 4 stars. The next book we got here makes me a little bit nervous just because it's a big chunky boy. There's like 3 or 4 people in my life that do read regularly. The Nightingale has gotten to them. They're not on social media or anything, so you know, it's probably a good book or it's like a boring book. Do you know what I mean? I just, you know, there's people out there that just read and then they're done with the book and they just think about it themselves and they go read another book. That's wild. All that I know is that it's a historical fiction, takes place around World War II, and it's about 2 sisters. Yesterday, I ended up getting 138 pages read of the Nightingale. It's been a lot easier for me to get invested into this book than I had thought that it would be. The writing is gorgeous. I'm just reading about World War II. Their town is being taken over by Germans. The rules that are being set in place, I'm like, this feels fake. I've learned about World War II my whole life, but reading it in this way is different. Kristen Hannah has managed to write something so beautiful about something so incredibly heavy without romanticizing it in the slightest, obviously. This writing is some of the most impressive writing that I think I've ever read because this happened. And as much as I've learned about this, I've been to museums, traveling museums, multiple museums in multiple states, so many movies, documentaries, been taught about World War II from various teachers in various stages of life, high school, college. I've never been immersed in this way before. Still very much processing the Nightingale. I just finished it like 15 minutes ago. We still have 2 books to go. I'm processing the Nightingale, but I'm also, let's keep going. Let's push past. Let's not let that stop us from where we're going next. And where we're going next is somewhere that I have been looking forward to for a very long time. For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten. All that I knew about it was that it was a fantasy. Honestly, this kind of looks like Feyre and her cloak, like at the beginning For the Wolf. I connected it to that and ACOTAR, thinking I'm just gonna absolutely love this series. There's 2 in the series. This might be a duology or it might be more of a series than just 2. I don't know much about it. It's 430 pages. This isn't the synopsis, these are just like reviews. So I'm just gonna read the first 2 little lines and then I'm gonna get into it. I'm not gonna read the synopsis on the inside of like what it's about or anything. It says,
the first daughter is for the throne, the second daughter is for the wolf.
I'm assuming this is from the second daughter's perspective. Let's get going. Hey baby ghouls, mommy's back with an update. As you know, I've been reading For the Wolf. Today is officially Monday. It's been a week since I started reading for this video. I had to take an eensy weensy little break yesterday and watch a movie just because there's the substance of this video has been immaculate. And Phoebe just pissed on my carpet. So, one sec while I clean that up. Okay, my loves. I really feel like I'm gonna get a second bookshelf soon. We do have one in Will's room and then we have 2 out in the living room, but like you don't see those. And the book whole theme, it's the theme, you know? So like the theme has gotta be theming. So I think I'm gonna get a next bookshelf soon. But I wanna paint it. So should get on that so I can paint it, try. You know what yeah. So let's get back to business. And down to business. Here's the thing. Reading for this week that I've been given. It's been so good. I'm getting so much out of it, but I've been so zoned in. It's not really anything that I feel like I can step away and talk about midway through because it's like I kind of have to get through this before I can form an opinion. Whenever I read a little bit, it feels like I can't do this justice. Let me read just a little bit more and then I'll talk about it. Oh wait, just like a little bit more and it feels like that until I get to the end of the book. That's how the Nightingale felt and that is what has been taking up so much more of my time. Now I will tell you, with this new book that I'm reading, For the Wolf, it's been so great. I'm on page 87 currently. Okay, this is a book that I really will love and enjoy and I'm excited for in the way that it's written. I was not expecting it to be just like, you know, blow my mind as it is. So I think what's happening currently is I'm like, I don't want to be so overwhelmed with the feelings and processing of the Nightingale still, like right afterwards. So I'm taking the time that I need, which I feel a lot better today. But yesterday I was like, I need to watch a movie. I need to watch something that like kind of like can take me away from the heaviness of the Nightingale so that I can go into For the Wolf completely clean. And I do want to I do want to read that in this video. I want to wrap it up with that video. I don't think I will be getting to the 4th book in this video, but that's okay. That's totally okay. They've all been pretty heavy. I wasn't given any fluffy pieces. So I'm going to give you the 100-page update right now, giving you the synopsis that you need. Woo-wee! Wow, has it been a ride? Let me also just say that the Virgos of the world, yeah, you should be funding the therapy. You should be funding therapy. And I'm not sure yet if I think that you should be the therapist dealing with the therapy, or if I think that you're the sneaky ones that are throwing stuff in our face as a collective that in turn we need therapy for. You know, I'm not sure where I stand on that yet, so we'll get back to you on that one. We have For the Wolf. This has been a book that has been on my TBR for a long time, probably since I read One Dark Window. In some book girlies videos, they're like, oh, if you like this book, you should read this one. If you like this book, you should read this one. So I've been really excited to read this. Now, I was correct when I said that. Did I tell you this? Yeah. Who else would I have talking to about this? Yeah, I think I told you. I was correct when I said the beginning of this, or maybe it was just the cover or the vibe. The vibe of this book felt like ACOTAR, the first book. I stand by that. In this wild imagination of mine, this book is scratching where ACOTAR scratched. So that's a good sign and a bold statement, but I'm being serious. That's why I have been taking the time to like clear my memory, smelling the coffee. You know, whenever you go like smell a lot of perfumes, if you smell like coffee beans, it like clears your palate. That's what yesterday kind of was for me. Because this really was, I think that this can hold itself up. It's not just gonna be a quick read just to get done with the video. I'm really excited about reading this, and that is me showing you how serious I am, is that I took a day to kind of clear my palate, which doesn't happen often, okay? Because, oh, and it's Virgo season, which means that I'm so serious about this, because when it comes to being a Virgo and having the energy, I'm not a Virgo, but whenever it comes to like what I understand now about Virgos and like the energy of Virgos is like they do things like they get after it, right? It's not tourist season, there's no napping involved, like they get after it. And so that's kind of what I'm feeling, Virgonian. I'm feeling a little Virgonian with this video, okay? And this book, I was like, I cannot be a Virgonian about it because I really want to get it for what it's worth. I'm cutting out the other book, right? So that I could get this for all it's worth. You might think that there's like a hierarchy to siblings here. You know, the thing is that they're twins. It's sad that one of them is to be sacrificed to a forest, to the wolf, and they only missed the mark by like a couple minutes, right? That's so sad. Like talk about an unfortunate series of events, you know what I mean? So the oldest is Neve, and then the youngest is Red, or Radaris. Radaris? I don't know. I got crap on TikTok for mispronouncing the names for a lot of fantasy novels, so I'm just gonna say whatever I am saying in my head because that makes the most sense to me and I don't want to be unauthentic to you, okay? So her name is Radaris, but they call her Red, so we're just gonna go with Red. Every 100 years they make a sacrifice, and so whoever is on the throne when it comes about that time, their children are up for the sacrifice. So it's like the first one, and it's the daughters, right? So it's the first one is for the throne. They obviously need someone to take over, but then the second one is going to be sacrificed to the forest, to this wolf. The reason for this community, this collective, believes that this wolf is keeping their kings or their gods or whatever hostage, and by sacrificing a young girl, so sad, they believe that this wolf will give their kings back. Now here's the thing, has the wolf ever given the kings back before? No. But maybe this time it'll happen. Literally no one knows what to expect because everyone that's gone before Red hasn't come back. Imagine that. Now Neve is like, Red, you don't have to go. We can run away. You know, you're my sister. We're meant to be together forever, just like BFFs. I'm gonna have to run this place one day, but screw that. I'm willing to give that up if you're willing to give up, like being sacrificed, whatever. Red believes that in order to keep her sister safe, she has to give herself up. She's like, no matter what, this wolf or like whatever these monsters that they've been told about that like work with the wolf are gonna come get them if they don't get their sacrifice whenever the second born turns 20. The character Red just seems a lot like Feyre to me. It's just she's willing to give herself up for her family. She knows that she has to make sacrifices for her family. The whole sister bond thing gives Feyre and her sisters. The whole wolf thing, you know, Tamlin, like it's giving very A Court of Thorns and Roses. If you like really miss that energy, I would already suggest reading this book. I still have 75% of this book to go. Let's make some guesses here. I'm gonna guess that Red gets it on with the wolf, probably. Or I could be so wrong and it could be like a mentor to her or like a best friend, you know? Like it's like the guy in Narnia, you know? Like just because the centaur, it could be like that type of situation. I don't know. I'm gonna guess that the latter half of this book isn't just her walking into the woods, dying, and then they're like, oh, okay, let's wait another 100 years before we make another sacrifice. Like, oops, you know? I'm gonna guess that that's not what happened. So let's see. I don't know. Baby girl, For the Wolf is done. I know that last time I talked to you, I was so excited about this. I was even spewing crazy blasphemy, like this reminded me of ACOTAR and stuff. And while it may have in the moment, that was my truth, okay? That was my truth then. The thing about your truth is your truth can change moment to moment. You go with the flow. I'm a water sun sign, I'm a water moon sign. I'm going to flow. And then my rising is air. So if anything about me, I'm gonna flow. But flowing, that's what, For the Wolf wasn't bad. Avi, look at that. I still had the motivation to tab all the way through. I enjoyed the main characters. They seemed more human and real to me. For the most part, I'm not thinking about the realness of a character when it comes to a fantasy, Avi. But Red here, this is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, which I did not, I don't know why. I just like, I didn't.
She's going to see a wolf.
Those two things did not connect. Did I go to school? The most experience I have with Little Red Riding Hood as an idea is that Little Red, I think that's her name, on Once Upon a Time, the show. I've seen the show like 3 times through. I'm obsessed with that show. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together that this was Little Red Riding Hood. I don't know. The next book is her sister. I did tell you that they're twins. Her sister, For the Throne. Will I be reading that? Yes. That's so opposite from what I said when I first finished this yesterday. I could only get through 80 to 100 pages of this a day, and I know you're like, Chandler, chill the fuck out. If that stresses you out, you need to chill. Okay, I get that, but at the same time, if you've been watching this video, you know that I've been reading a lot of very, very heavy things. So I'm ready for a little fluffy McNutterson book. When this one ends up being the heaviest in terms of depth, and it was the very last one, I was like, it wasn't just like a let's push through it, it was like a I'm being dragged along. I don't think that I gave this book the time that it deserved. If I would push beyond the limit that I knew, okay, this is enough for tonight, I need to process things. If I pushed beyond that limit, I would start to get really confused. Be ready to spend some time with this one. Well, we're done with the Virgo books. Now let's talk about you Virgos, because man, did you do a number on me. And yeah, I'm gonna classify all Virgos to my experience within the past week of reading these 3 books. The 3 books ended up taking me 9 days. Made myself stop when I felt the need to stop. I did not carry on. I was like, we're gonna do this right. And to me, that makes me think, okay, Virgos, okay, so you're gonna do this right. Okay, another thing is I got into tabbing. What? Who? Maybe I should say that you guys are out here doing the most. That is really pretty though. See the different colors? There's no method to my madness. All in all, we got a 4, a 5-star, and then I gave this one a 3 just because I told you I just kept getting lost and confused and I just needed to give it more time. So I will come back to that review. But as of right now, my experience with this one is a 3. The Nightingale. Excuse me. Excuse me. What was that for? I'm really glad that Brooklyn had me read The Nightingale because I did learn while I read, and it was nice to go to a different genre without thinking, oh my gosh, I'm literally gonna be so bored. Because I wasn't that bored, you know? And so that's always fun. It's always fun to prove yourself wrong. Just based on that week of reading in those 3 books, let me talk to the Virgos for a second, okay? Are you doing okay? Take a deep breath, pull it back a little bit, do something colorful and fun. Go get some fresh air outside. You're serving organized queen, and we love that. That is gorgeous of you. It was fun. That was really fun. But you need to pick up some like fluffy books once in a while. It's because you're reading some heavy, dark stuff. I am curious if you're a Virgo and you're a reader. What kind of fluffy romances, that type of thing, what kind of fluffiness, cotton candy books do you read once you've read like so many heavy, just intense books? Do you just completely stop reading and just like take a break for a while until you can get back to the intense books? Or do you ever like stop and allow yourself to read some like fluffiness just to kind of clear the palette? My sister said I would never pick up a book with like a cartoonish rom-com-y cover. Now I'm curious, is that everyone or just her? Because she is a Libra rising, you would think that she would be like a little bit drawn to that. I don't know. I feel like this really connected me with Virgos a lot, just reading this, and I feel like there's a lot of depth to you. I respect you more. I feel like if someone ever tells me that they're a Virgo, I'm just gonna hug them. You are a warrior for taking on thrillers, dark fantasy, really intense historical fiction, and just taking it like a champ and enjoying your life. I love that for you. You should probably go to therapy. You know, we all should, but like, girl. I had so much fun doing this video. Thank you so much, Virgos, for your participation in spirit. I love you so much. See you later, friends. Bye.